Imagine a king so beloved that when he disappeared, his people refused to believe he was dead. Instead, they waited for years, for decades, even for centuries. They whispered that he would return one day, riding through the mist to save Portugal in its darkest hour.
Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But this isn't myth, it's history.
In the heart of the 16th century, Portugal stood at the pinnacle of its golden age. Its ships had circumnavigated the globe, its empire spanned continents, and its wealth seemed limitless.
But a nation's destiny often rests on the shoulders of its king, and for Portugal, that king was Sebastian I, a young monarch whose grand ambitions would lead him to a battlefield in North Africa in 1578 and into one of history's most enduring and poignant mysteries.
He vanished without a trace, and in his absence, a powerful myth was born, the legend of King Sebastian's return and Sebastianism.
Welcome back to The Curious Past. I'm Shan.
And I'm Danny. Today we're diving into the mystery of the king who became a ghost, a prophecy, and a political weapon. Did Sebastian really die on that battlefield? Or did he come back?
Born in 1554, Sebastian inherited the Portuguese throne at the tender age of 3. Raised by Jesuits and fueled by an intense religious zeal, he dreamed not of maintaining his vast empire, but of expanding Christendom.
He envisioned himself as a crusader king, destined to lead a glorious holy war against the Muslims of North Africa, reclaiming lands for God. His advisors, weary of his idealism and the practicalities of war, urged caution, but Sebastian was unyielding.
In 1578, against all advice, the 24-year-old king launched his grand crusade. He assembled an impressive army of 17,000 men, filled with the flower of Portuguese nobility, and set sail for Morocco. His target, a Muslim army led by the formidable Sultan Abd al-Malik.
The two armies met at the Battle of Alcácer Quibir, also called the Battle of the Three Kings. However, what followed was a slaughter for Portugal as they went up against a much larger Moorish army.
Sebastian, with his characteristic impulsiveness, charged headfirst into the enemy lines, leading from the front. Thousands of Portuguese troops were killed or captured. And King Sebastian? He was last seen fighting valiantly in the thick of the melee. His body was never definitively found.
And just like that, Portugal lost its king, and soon after, its independence.
The loss was unimaginable. Almost the entire Portuguese nobility, the future leaders of the nation, perished on that scorching Moroccan plain.
Without a direct heir, the Portuguese throne passed to Sebastian's elderly great-uncle, Cardinal Henry, and when he too died shortly after, the crown was claimed by Philip II of Spain. Portugal, a once proud, independent nation, was now swallowed by its powerful neighbor.
But here's where it gets strange. Because no body was found, the Portuguese people clung to hope. They refused to believe their young king was dead. After all, how could such a heroic monarch simply vanish?
Instead, they told themselves he was not dead, but merely in hiding, awaiting the moment to return through the mists on a white horse, to reclaim his throne and restore Portugal's lost independence and glory, saving the country from foreign rule.
This belief became known as Sebastianism, part prophecy, part national obsession. And It wouldn't stay just legend, it would fuel impostors and rebellions.
For decades, the Spanish yoke chafed against Portuguese pride, and where there is desperate hope, there will always be opportunists.
Over the next 40 years, 4 different impostors emerged, each claiming to be the long-lost King Sebastian. They were not just con men, they were a testament to the sheer power of the Sebastianist myth.
The first, so-called Sebastian, appeared just 2 years after the battle. A simple man from Portugal who claimed he was the lost king in disguise.
He was executed quickly, but that didn't stop others.
The second, a pious stone mason, gained some local credibility due to his holy reputation before his arrest and death in prison. But it was the third and most significant impostor who captured international attention.
This man, a Calabrian by birth, appeared in Venice and claimed to be the true Sebastian. He spoke some Portuguese, possessed a striking resemblance to the missing king, and had the backing of influential Portuguese nobles in exile.
He claimed to have been enslaved by the Turks after the battle, enduring years of suffering before his return. His story was so compelling that he was even brought before the Venetian authorities.
But Spanish influence was too strong. He was arrested, tortured, and eventually executed. His true identity, even after his death, was never definitively confirmed, fueling the legend even further.
The final impostor appeared in the remote Azores Islands, also claiming to be the king. Like his predecessors, he was eventually arrested and met the same fate.
Each false Sebastian, despite their differing origins and ultimate failures, demonstrated the profound impact of the vanished king on the Portuguese psyche. Each impostor strengthened the myth that somewhere, somehow, Sebastian lived.
After Sebastian's disappearance, Portugal fell under Spanish rule. For 60 years it remained in the shadow of Spain, exactly the kind of national crisis that fed the prophecy.
And while Portugal finally regained its independence in 1640, with the House of Braganza ascending to the throne, the legend of Sebastian did not die.
Sebastianism transformed from a political movement into a powerful cultural and messianic ideal. It became the belief that in times of great national crisis or despair, the Encoberto, the hidden one, King Sebastian, would finally emerge through the mists, leading Portugal to a new golden age.
Even centuries later, during wars and uprisings, people whispered, "The king will return when Portugal needs him most."
In fact, Sebastianism lasted so long that it became a cultural undercurrent in Portugal and even Brazil, blending with religious mysticism.
Some even saw him as a messianic figure, a king who would return to bring about justice at the end of days.
From the 16th to the 20th century, the myth of Sebastian continued to resonate, a testament to the enduring power of hope and national identity. The disappearance of one idealistic king created a vacuum that centuries of belief could not fill.
The story of King Sebastian's return is a haunting reminder that for a nation, sometimes the greatest heroes are those who never truly leave, forever waiting just beyond the horizon, in the mists of a people's collective imagination.
So what really happened? Most historians agree Sebastian died at Alcácer Quibir, his body likely lost among the thousands who perished.
But the lack of a corpse left just enough mystery for people to believe, and in times of suffering, belief is often more powerful than truth.
His legacy lives on not as a warrior but as a ghost king, a symbol of hope in Portugal's darkest times.
So what do you think? Was Sebastian truly dead on the battlefield? Or could one of those impostors have been the real king in disguise?
And maybe the bigger question, why do we cling to legends of lost rulers? Is it because we want to believe someone will always come back to save us?
Thanks for joining us on this strange journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, it helps us more than you know.
Drop your theories in the comments, we read them all. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss our next dive into the hidden corners of history.
Until next time, stay curious.